Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Man United Rebuild Challenge, and we left part 1 in January, so let's dive into the transfer window and see who we picked up. And first in was Ivan Fresneda, the right back, £62 million from Sporting Lisbon, and he was joined by the big old centre-back Nico Schlotterbeck, £78 million from Borussia Dortmund, and then Christian Jakic joined from Eintracht Frankfurt, £19 million for some strength in midfield. Onto the outs, Tyrell Malacia, £30 million to AC Milan, which was lovely because he had never kicked a ball for us, and Willy Camboala, who actually was breaking into our first team, but when Brentford offered £8 million, we had to let him go. Aaron Wan-Bissaka joined PSG for £25 million after playing back up to Delot. And we got into the season. A highlight of January was beating Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield in the FA Cup. It was Gedson Fernandes that got the first goal of the game. Liverpool then equalised, but after that they didn't really show very much. Konate brought the ball forward, Szoboszlai into Gakpo, and he fired it past Onana. But it was Kieran Dewsbury-Hall that wrapped up the win for us away from home at Anfield. Martinez gave it off to Reguilon into Dewsbury-Hall, and he fired past Alisson Becker to make it 2-1. Into February, and the highlight of that month was a 5-0 thrashing of Sheffield United. Schlotterbeck scored his first goal for the club. Delot, who had cemented that right back spot, came forward, squared it to Rashford, and that was 2-0. Sheffield United sinking without a trace. Bruno Fernandes fired in a penalty after Rasmus Højlund was fouled, and then Luke Shaw brought the ball out from the defence, ran down the left hand side, put a cross in towards Rashford. It bounced around a bit, and Højlund was there to poke home. The final goal of the game came from Shaw's throw-in into Fernandes, back to Hannibal, into Shaw again, a cross was put in and Rashford headed home at the back post. Into the next month then, and we took on Benfica in the Champions League, and it was really disappointing over 2 legs. It was Musa that gave the Portuguese team the lead. Martinez then brought the ball out from the back as Højlund put it into Rashford. He used his pace and fired it past the keeper to make it 1-1. But we weren't done there for goals in this game as João Neves put the ball out to Bar on the right hand side. He got past his man, swung in across, and Musa was there for his second of the game to make that 2-1 Benfica. Again, the goals kept coming. Otamendi played it into Kochku. Kochku got down the right hand side. He squared it back for Angel Di Maria, who scored against his former club. Rashford brought the ball forward, and this second half was absolutely bonkers. Fresneda got down the line into Gedson Fernandes, and he made it 3-2. But Benfica weren't done there. Jurasek threw the ball in. He got a 1-2 back from Rafa. In it went to him again, a shot from range, and that beat Onana. Into the second leg, and that man Rafa was causing us problems. He ran down the left, squared it for Kochku, who fired into the top corner to give Benfica the lead. We then absolutely pummeled Benfica, but could only come away with 1 goal, and that was from Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, fired in. But eventually we went out of the Champions League. Into April, and it was a game against Arsenal that was the highlight this month. Marcus Rashford making it 1-0 to the home team, firing in, hitting off the inside of the post. Saka then laid it back to Ben White. He found Thomas Partey into Verheerts, and Martinelli was at the back post to head home past Onana. But from our own corner, Shaw swung it in. Schlotterbeck couldn't quite get the header right. Shaw picked up the loose ball and just fired a shot past everybody to make it 2-1 to Man United. Fresneda then ran down the right-hand side, got to the byline, swung in across. Garnacho met it with a header, believe it or not, and that was 3-1 to United. Into the FA Cup then, and we had knocked out Leeds and Crystal Palace before taking on West Ham, where Kieran Dewsbury-Hall put us 1-0 up very early doors, and West Ham had absolutely no response. Diego Dalot ran down the right-hand side, putting across towards Rashford. His header was bundled home by Rasmus Højlund to make it 2-0, and we were pretty much on easy street from then. Amrabat back in the team found Mason Mount. He put it into Thomas Muller, who scored from range for his first goal of the season. Back into league action then, and we came through with Mason Mount just running through and beating the Aston Villa defence. 1-0 to Man United. And then we then it went to Thomas Muller, who fired home again, and this was the final Premier League game of the season. 2-0 to Man United. Schlotterbeck brought the ball out from the back, found Fresneda, he cut it back, and Garnacho was there to poke home. Into the FA Cup final, and what a game this was. Man United going ahead through Kieran Dewsbury-Hall early on in the first half, beating Verbruggen at his near post, and that man again, Dewsbury-Hall, went on a solo run, found Rashford then had a shot and he fired it into the bottom corner. 2-0, game over, I hear you calling, but Lewis Dunk had other plans. 84th minute, Lewis Dunk fires home from a corner, collects the ball, and Brighton stay on the attack, and it's that man Dunk again getting on his own headed rebound to make it 2-2 in the 90th minute. Into extra time we go. Luke Shaw swings in a corner. It comes back to Shaw. He gets to the byline, cuts it back wonderfully, and Dewsbury Hall gets another goal for him. But Lewis Dunk was not to be outdone. A hat-trick for the big centre-back. Another lovely header. But into the 116th minute, and not wanting to be outdone by a lanky tall centre-back, Dewsbury Hall got his hat-trick and picked up man of the match, and we had won the FA Cup this season. Lovely stuff. A really good game, 2 hat-tricks, just unbelievable. So the league table looks like this. We actually finished 5th in the league, 4 points off Chelsea in 4th, which is a little bit irritating. But we do have Marcus Rashford and Rasmus Højlund joint first goal scorers in the league, and we scored the most goals this season with 84. We also had an average possession of around 56%, which is something we need to improve next season. Moving into it then, we actually get the Champions League because of the coefficients given the top 5 places to finish. We did have Højlund up there in the top goal scorer award for the Premier League as well. And he got into the Players' Team of the Year up front alongside Haaland. Quite the strike force. But our results were pretty good, to be honest. Only losing to Man City after Bournemouth. Not bad at all. The Lit Review said that Nico Schlotterbeck was our signing of the season, which was great. We had lots of records broken, which you can pause and read there if you would like to. Lots of player awards as well. It was an up and down season. We sort of secured 5th late on, but we did pretty well. The board were happy. We're going to have another season, another crack at this, but we've got some questions to answer halfway through next season, I think. But overall, not bad. A good season. We won the FA Cup. We've got into the Champions League through the league. Need to do better in the Champions League. See you for part 3.